言うことは一つだけ。絶対負けねえ。行くぞピエール。スライダーキャノンシュートだ。
How's it going, everybody? This is Nothing Excess here with a new player analysis video. We've got the Dream Collection for Louis Napoleon, the Brilliant Runaway Shooter. We also have a Hidden Ability Evolution that was just released for the Raid, Carlos Santana, which is the football cyborg. So without any delay, we're just going to get right into it because there's not a lot to talk about except for Napoleon, who's actually quite good, and Santana, whatever. Anyway, starting off, we got Louis Napoleon, the Brilliant Runaway Shooter. Never has a character being created for a specific archetype that so specifically counters a part of the meta. For those of you who have been looking at Green Europe with longing eyes, waiting for a good goalkeeper and some strikers that are a little better than Green 18 Schneider and 18 Margus, your time is almost at hand, as soon as you get them. For now, you get probably one of the best European strikers in the game in Napoleon. I see a few of you walking away confused, just going, well, but he loses to Genzo, so who cares? Alright, well, calm down, because there's a lot more reasons to like this character than just whether he can beat a single goalkeeper or not. To start with, he is probably the current most viable hard counter to any blue Japanese team in a single player in a single player yet. You may be thinking, well, what about that free green Roberto they gave away? Well, that character's biggest problem is that his name is Roberto, right? His name being Roberto means that no one in their right mind is going to run him over the blue one, especially in a world where Super Solidarity exists. If you are European, though, this Napoleon is an easy start. With good shooting and passing that's higher against Japan, his best S ground shot, the ability to obliterate the stamina of all blue players he faces like Dreamfest Ken, 18 Mueller, and 97 Genzo, beware. A bump of stats in the PK area, and a hard 5% debuff on Ken, and the fact that he's stronger when more tired and has tenacity, Green Europe is practically ready to go, and if you have Chana, it's good to go right now. For his overview, which we're changing a little bit here, we will be doing the overview in a different way. We're no longer going to go like a whole blurb of the overview. Instead, we're going to talk about the passive and the team skill, and then cover the grading. So he's got, for a passive Japanese player killer, he's stronger against Japanese players by 50%, and that's monstrously good considering where the meta is right now in terms of heavy Japanese player reliance. His team skill, though, is non-Japanese players emergence. That's a 10% buff. And nowadays, they're only nice for PvE purposes, and this will help you make teams for PvE events, but not much else. Anyways, for his grading, I think he is a double S scorer. I think he scores even on teams that he doesn't specifically counter. He is actually quite strong, and he gets stronger as the game goes on. He is an S enabler. He is quite good at enabling. Actually, he has like 10k base pass. It's quite good. His defense is a C. He's not very good at defending almost at all. He does put a lot of pressure, though, because of his the way his stats are. He places a lot more pressure on the defense than you would think, especially because of the amount of stamina he reduces. He's very independent, but not quite as independent as you would like, because he does rely on Pierre heavily. He's not that flexible. He's really just a forward, and he does just the one thing. He's very durable, though. He has almost 1100 stamina. His skill support is S. He has plenty of access to a bunch of different skills, but he could use a better shot that he doesn't have one, and his main shot kind of is, it's only a 455 cap, which is a little sad. His hidden abilities are excellent. We'll talk about him in a second. His team skill, as we mentioned earlier, is an A, but his passive is a double S. Japanese player killer is super valuable right now. His positions forward, his roles are striker, counter, and enabler. He is double S tier, and I will explain in a moment why he's double S tier, and it comes down to his hidden abilities. Would I pull for him? It really depends. Even though he's double S tier, you would have to really be playing a European team. He can be splashed with Super Solidarity to deal with blue Japanese teams, but I would be hesitant to go too hard for him even then, because Green Japan can already do that by splashing like Hino or Santana or something like that. And those characters are more obviously good than this one is. Now, for his hidden abilities, he's got stats down. If you're Ken, you get nerfed by 5%. This is only double S because Ken is one of the key parts of the current meta. Otherwise, it'd be a lot weaker. Fiery Potential, a buff of up to 10% to your stats for being tired. It's really, really, really good, especially when you see what we're going to talk about later. He has Stamina Killer Agility type. All blue players must spend 30% more stamina to use moves against him. There's a brutal hard counter to blue and a huge hard counter to Mueller and Genzo specifically. It's less so to Ken because Ken obviously has a cheap skill, but his like 210 punch turns into a 260 punch, which is pretty good if you're trying to like really try to wear out Ken, but it's not like the panacea that people think it is. Penalty Area Master, you get 70% stat bump for entering the penalty area. It's not like the craziest thing ever, but it's pretty nice. 70% feels like a good amount considering how his stats turn out in general. And Tenacity. This would normally not be an SS tier hidden ability, but the presence of fire potential makes this an incredibly insanely good hidden ability. On everyone else, it's an S, but on someone with fire potential, it means that the very last shot, like his dying throws, is going to be super strong. It creates a monstrous amount of synergy, and you can't help but applaud the designers for thinking of how adorable of a combo it makes. For his limit breaks, if there's ever someone who couldn't be happier running Standard Striker, it's my boy Napoleon. Urgently needs to get into the box to really mess up opposing goalkeepers up, particularly because he's somewhat uncharacteristically slow. He needs to be pumped up much further from his 5,128 speed. Standard Striker again, 25 speed, shot power, and 22 3-pass technique. Now, if you really want to forget speed because you're just going to try to make your 1-2s unstoppable, it's viable, but listen, get speed instead, okay? Just listen to me. However, if you really want to do it, pass and shoot, 25 shot power, pass technique. For his stats breakdown, he has 1121 stamina, that's really high, and as you can see from his stats, you wind up with 11.2k shot base, 10.2k pass, 8k dribble, and the next best thing is intercept at 7.8k, not really that good, probably not worth really investing in. Finally, for his skill build, he comes with the S slider cannon shot, which is what you're going to be keeping. A straight line dribble is a pretty good dribble, and you would rather run that than the S version in my opinion. A Eiffel attack he comes with, so keep that there and level that up. S floor burst cannon, if you happen to have it, is a good option here for a low ball, especially if you have if you're splashing in someone that can throw low balls, that would be very nice. And a strong pass EX. Don't use your pass when you're in full power and can enable someone in better position, otherwise you'll be bleeding stamina out for no reason. You replace the S straight line dribble with the A one because the S one's really bad and you're never spending SSR balls on it, even if Napoleon doesn't have that many useful skills. Anyway, next up we have Carlos Santana, the football cyborg. This will be pretty quick. He's the fastest summary for this character you'll find. If you inexplicably run into a blue Mueller that tries to punch an S99 rolling arrow jumping overhead kick from this character, the shot power can get to 80.2k after a limit break. But if he catches it, it's 64.2k instead. And if it's not a blue keeper, it's 53.6k instead. All in all, this player doesn't really have much of a point other than maybe being really easy to get the evolution materials for, or maybe using him for certain events like other hidden ability events and stuff like that. If you're trying to finish those quests where you need to complete HA so that you can get rewards, other than that, there's simply no reason to run this version of Santana over any other, and you will find it hard to run the Santana over any other normal SSR players. Not sure why they didn't just work on the perfect soldier instead, who really needed to work more than this one did. For his passive, he's got Agility Killer. He does get 20% more stats against blue players, and that's easy to activate, and there's plenty of blue teams running around, but there's also too many variants of Japan teams that it might be hard to get any use out of it that often, and he's kind of terrible, so the passive is irrelevant. And for his team skill, his evolution of South American football, it's just a 7% team skill. It's only good if you have nothing better. For his scoring, he is a C scorer, he is a D enabler, defender, and he applies D pressure. He's pretty independent though. He doesn't really need anything else other than someone sending him a ball in, so I guess that's an S. And since he actually has High Baller as a hidden ability, I think that would actually make him even more independent. He's not very flexible at all. He doesn't do a whole lot of things. He's pretty durable, surprisingly. He has like 960 something stamina. He's got great skill support because it is Santana and he has tons of skills. His hidden abilities, even though I marked here, I think I would give them rating like an A total. It's really more like anywhere between A and S, so but really it feels more like an A. Team skill C and passive S. For his hidden abilities, he's got stats up, an untyped permanent plus 1% bonus to all South American players. Now, it doesn't actually specify whether it's only for your team, but it's probably only for your team. That's Punch Killer Mueller, A rated hidden ability. If you face a Mueller and they punch, your shot's 30% stronger. That's weird, oddly specific, but useful. Bumpy ground resistance, whatever, PvE stuff, cool beans. Special skill force up. If you are using a high ball, it's 20% stronger, and it always activates. It's not that surprising on a character whose farmable skill isn't overhead, so yeah. And then he gets High Baller. He has an 80% chance to send in a high flying ball if Santana passes it in. Kind of like how True Captain Tsubasa has 80% chance to swing in a low flying ball into the box. So basically, if he taps the ball to himself, there's an 80% chance of it being a high ball, because that's really when you're going to use it. For his limit breaks, if you have to give him something, give him the Standard Striker. It's 25 speed, shot power, 22 3-pass technique. Don't bother with anything else. If you don't have to limit break him, if you can avoid doing that altogether, then please do. Otherwise, just go with Standard Striker. It's the easiest thing to do. For his stats, 963 stamina. As you can see, again, in match stats, he got 7.4k shot as his highest. Everything else is under 7.4k. It's not very good whatsoever. His skill build is B rolling overhead kick and then S rolling arrow jumping overhead kick. It's a troll build. It's a troll character. I'm not sure why he exists. If you know why he exists, please leave a comment on my video and explain it to me. It might be that it's like 3 a.m. while I'm writing this, but I don't get him at all. I'm just really confused. Anyways, everyone, thank you all for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, please go ahead and click the like button and leave a comment telling me what you think. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, please subscribe and click the little bell icon to be notified of when new videos or posts are made before checking out the rest of the channel. Also, if you would like to support my work, you can do so by either leaving a tip by clicking on the Streamlabs link in the description, or by joining my Patreon, where you can subscribe monthly and enjoy the unique benefits available to my Patreon subscribers. You can check that out by following the Patreon link below or using the URL shown in the video. Thank you guys for checking this out. I hope to see you all soon.